Alright. We've done it. Hello everyone. It's your favorite programming error that just refused to be fixed. CodeErr. And welcome back to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Look, this little prompt came up again. I talked about it last time. Apparently this is something I have to deal with every single time I boot up the game now, which is intriguing. I can say I was expecting this to show up for a second time today. Anyway, congrats on being first, Spinne. Definitely congrats. You deserve the first. And yes, Spinny is everyone's favorite mage that just refuses to stream. Well then again, you have streamed already in the past, like a few times. Like when you played Danganronpa V3, or a little bit before that, when you actually played some Holocure as well. Hang on, what? Some Holocure as well. Well, this is new. This is definitely new. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. You're welcome. I was very confused about why I had to do that, though. I mean, you could just access the time, you know. But yeah, that is, yes? A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. Why would I do that? I want the full experience. Of course I'm gonna actually adjust the clock accordingly. But you're actually taking time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. You're welcome! Game window, narrator, mysterious disembodied entity. That's how I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. Ah, guys, I'm paying attention. I never do this normally. Imagine paying attention. Couldn't be me 90% of the time. Probably mysterious disembodied entity. Yeah. And you know what the best part is about saying it like that? That doesn't rule out that it's the narrator, because the narrator is also a mysterious disembodied entity, technically. But yeah, if it were the narrator, then we would be getting voice lines here, right? I would imagine we would be getting voice lines if it was the narrator. I even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. They are, trust me. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. A deal? You know, being on a black screen with nothing else around other than the text, tell you what, I'll make you a deal. In most circumstances, this would be rather ominous. Kara, yeah, basically. Source, trust me, bro, yeah. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Do I have a favorite time? My favorite time might just be 11 PM because that's usual stream start time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Have I? That is so kind. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Yay, we get to play the video game. Well, that was certainly not something I was expecting when booting up the game. Definitely not what I was expecting. Well, anyway, it's time to actually begin the game. Today, we're going to the new content door. Are you looking forward to the new content door? You know what? We'll do the intro again. We'll listen to the intro again. Why not?
Stanley worked for a company in a big building
No harm,
where
right?
he was employee number 427.
It's a good
Employee
intro to
number
the stream
427's
anyway,
job
and gives
was
people a
simple.
chance to,
He
you
sat
know,
at his
actually
desk
show
in
up
room
before we get
427,
started for real,
and
for
he
real.
pushed buttons on a keyboard.
Because right
Orders
now it's
came
just
to
me
him
and
through a
Spinner,
monitor on
chilling.
the desk, telling him what buttons to push,
Being buds.
how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month.
Oh,
of
and Rob,
every
I guess,
year.
too.
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Yeah.
Stanley was happy.
Hello.
And then one day,
Rob.
something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
Welcome back to
Something
the
he
Stanley
would never quite
Parable.
forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years
Now,
at the
what
company
should our
had this
objective
happened.
be after
This
we get through the new
complete
content
isolation.
door? I'm
Something was very
very
clearly
curious.
wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Welcome back! Quit the game and then start it again! That was an easy achievement. We've already obtained an achievement today. Great.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I do actually want to try something first. There is an achievement for beating the game in like 4
When
minutes,
Stanley
22
came to
seconds.
a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door.
I hope I
on
can
his
do
left.
that. Do you remember the password? 2845,
Yet
I
there
think?
was not a single person here either.
I think it was
Feeling a wave of
2845.
disbelief, Stanley decided
Let's
to
try
go
getting
up
that
to his
achievement.
boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
2845,
upstairs to his boss's
2845.
office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked,
4.
unraveled,
I'll wait for the
Stanley
narrator to
wondered
say
in
it.
disbelief who orchestrated this. What
Because
dark
that way
secret
he
was being held
shouldn't,
from
you know,
him?
skim
What he could
through the
not have known
dialogue.
was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible
I think it's
truth
faster to let
that
him
his
finish
boss had
talking
been
here than
keeping
this
from
to,
him.
you know,
And so the
sit
boss had
through the
assigned it
stuff.
an extra secret
the music
pin
and
number,
everything.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
There we go.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Alright, we're going down. 4 minutes, 22 seconds. I think I should be able to do that.
Descending deeper into the building,
Maybe.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never
Right, here we go.
occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Go. Hack the walls.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Yep. It's gonna be a tight speed run though, because there's so much
Lights
waiting
rose on an
time
enormous
here.
room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the
I don't
strength
know.
to
This is
find
definitely
out?
gonna be a close one. Where's the button? It's over here.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Yep,
Their
they
true
sure
nature
did.
Revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so
on.
many individuals reduced to images.
I'm
on
not
a
sure if I
screen.
can do
And
the
Stanley,
get the
one of
speedrun
them,
achievement.
eternally monitored in this
I'm not sure if
place
there's some
where
kind of special
freedom
routing
meant
you have to
nothing.
figure out to pull it off.
This mind control facility.
But
it was
I'm
too
trying here,
horrible
okay?
to
I'm
believe
trying.
It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only
There's the
reason he was
elevator.
happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He
Alright.
refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
I mean, you can
His
try
own
to get the
life
Hollow
in
Knights. I
someone
assume
else's
Hollow Knight
control?
speedrun achievements are a lot
Never.
harder
It was
than just walking
unthinkable.
through a game
Wasn't
quickly.
it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly
There is also an
blind to the
achievement that I'm
world?
definitely not gonna get anytime soon. At
But
least
here
I
was
won't
the
get it
proof,
on stream.
The heart of the operation.
And that is,
Controls
there is an
labeled
achievement
with
for
emotions,
playing the Stanley
happy
Parable
or
for the
sad
entire
or
duration of
content.
Tuesday.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided...
But yeah, I'm not getting the achievement for playing the Stanley Parable for an entire Tuesday. Not on stream. Maybe I'll leave my PC running for an entire Tuesday at one point.
Blackness.
Just
and
for
a
that
rising
stupid
chill of
achievement.
uncertainty.
We'll see.
Was it over? Yes.
Yes.
He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere
Well, that's a little bit
moments
of a visual
away.
glitch, I think.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened...
Yeah,
Stanley
very
reflected
slowly. I'm
on
trying
how
to get
many
the speedrun
puzzles
ending
still lay
here.
unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber,
Come
he
on.
realized none of this mattered to him.
Have I
For it
defeated
was
the
not
timer?
knowledge
I
or
don't know
even
yet.
power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell
on.
him where to go, what to do.
I'm not sure I did
or
it.
how to feel.
I'm really not sure.
Whatever life he lives,
This door
it will
alone is
be
ruining
his.
everything. Ruining
And
all
that
my
was
chances.
all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open
I'm
door.
trying to step through the door. You're not letting me. There we go.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin. The feeling
I
of
don't see the
liberation,
achievement yet.
The immense possibility of the new path before him.
Perhaps the goal wasn't
This
to
was
understand,
exactly
but to
the
go
way,
fast. Yes.
Right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Doesn't look like I got it. How am I supposed to do that any faster, though? How am I supposed to go faster? Is there some kind of sequence break? Some kind of way to skip ahead? I don't know. Well, I
All
guess
of
I
his
didn't do
co-workers
it.
were gone. What
Oh well.
could it mean?
Guess we'll just go through
Stanley
the new
decided to
content
go to
door
the
then.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright. This is it. This is it.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Yeah, I wonder what it could mean. New content. Oh. We're about to find out what it could mean.
Hello, and
Oh.
thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Yay!
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
I am aware.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the
Yay!
game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley
Wow,
Parable,
more game.
delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable
Yo.
Ultra Deluxe.
New content
Well,
time.
this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
You and me both, narrator. You and me both. I guess we're about to find out.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
One sure can hope. once it moves.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere? Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new
The delay.
content. I've never been
The delay
more
for the
ready.
new
Let's do
content.
it.
Oh no. Was it supposed to be meta humor that the new content was delayed?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Oh, I can't do the elevator trick again where I go back. Playing for... Actually, Rob, you're wrong. There is no achievement for not playing for 5 years. There is, however, an achievement for not playing the game for 10 years. Hooray. Which is an achievement that some people apparently already have. Obvious answer to how they have it, they clearly just messed with the date on their devices. Like, they played the game, exited out of the game, set the date forward 10 years, and logged back in. But why would I cheat? After I'm done with this game, and have done everything except that achievement, I will not open this game again until 10 years from now.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Amazing. No! They're allowing me to jump! I can jump, but only 25 more times. I meant 20. This is premium stuff. How nice of them to give these jumps to me. Can I reset it? Guys, I think I ran out of jumps.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Well, it's an entirely new gameplay mechanic. You weren't able to jump before. Oh look, another elevator.
Goodness, another elevator.
I just
Stanley,
said that.
I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this
Yes.
is new content, then I could just
Apparently.
read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra
Wow.
Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see.
We'll
it.
see about that.
I'm ready for whatever it is.
Wow. Can't believe they put a catwalk like this in the office space. Well, I guess that's it.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley?
Well, that was a great game,
This is
everyone.
what
I hope you
happens
enjoyed
when
it.
greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's
All
hard
right.
to believe one of them actually says, test achievement,
Yeah, I saw
please
that, actually. I looked at the
ignore."
achievements
What quality
today
assurance
before opening the
department
game
signed off on
again.
this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold
Oh, no.
them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
Really now?
No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
You want me to replay the original Stanley Parable. Yeah, this looks fine. This is normal. This is very normal. This is the Stanley Parable. Like you know it. Where's this office? And why do the other doors not have numbers?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
But what if I want to not vent? I don't want to be sus. You see... Like my work, I like work, I just hate my boss. Fair. You see, I don't want to be sus. I know it will be hard for you. No.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Alright, you take that back. You take that back right now.
Never mind. You're not a dork.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Wait. This seems awfully familiar again. Except the new content door is locked. Curious.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
Did I just
well.
go back on track
Perhaps
then?
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I think I literally just went back on track. Well, in that case, I
Stanley
might
was
as well
so
off
bad at following
myself.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Bye-bye.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control
Alright,
of the
fine, I have to
story
go through
and
the
no one
vent,
gets
I
to
get
tell him
it.
what
I have to
do,
be sus.
Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
I get it,
Good
I have
job,
to be
Stanley.
sus.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful. Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something! Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. Oh, never mind. You're
There we
not
go.
a dog.
Alright, what are we looking for? Okay, apparently someone left their mug in here. Well...
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it
Very,
got me
yes.
thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Uh-huh.
So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Alright. I'm sorry, what were you hiding here? Yeah, this is normal for any office space, right? pervade a whole dimension. Doesn't every office space have something like this if you crawl through the vents?
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Aha. What if I just go back? I know I can't, but maybe it'll tick off the narrator. Was there always an ominous red light up there? You know, maybe I shouldn't. Stay in the vent. Sell them all. How did he hide from? I couldn't tell you. Again, this is very, very normal. There it is, the memory zone. Nice place you got here, narrator. Don't forget the Stanley
You see, Stanley,
Parable.
doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Cargo Operator's Manual. National Geographic, apparently. Graphs. I love graphs. Indoors Monthly. Time. Funny Time Magazine. Shapes. Exclusive. Lenny Smith talks about his new box. Whatever. Zone, Sweet Zone. Can't open that. Oh, look, it's the Steam page. What's on that drawing? It was a brain and a PC. The brain and the PC interacting with PC stuff. 2013, when the Stanley Parable was released. Collector's Edition. Audience Award for the Stanley Parable 2014. British Academy of Film and Television Arts. Yeah, Stanley Parable. Good times. The best of times. In loving memory. The original remake. What do we have here? 2013. Just postcards. I remember. The memory zone temp. Alright, what else do we have? Smile because it happened. Trip down memory lane. Bits of music from the Stanley Parable. Why do they have $1? Is that supposed to be like the first dollar they made from the game? Haha. Demonstration. Begin the demo. Can. Unachievable. It is impossible to get this achievement. Go outside. Don't play for 5 years. There it is. See, that isn't a thing anymore because I now need to not play for 10 years. British Academy Award, the Stanley Parable Game Innovation. Debut game. Story. It's all about your story. A new video game releasing today. Creators surprisingly down to earth. Ah, yes. Show uneven effort to enroll poor. Cause hinder new to achieve diversity. Business leaders pushing election of council allies. 50% off designer hat. But a small creature owns the other half. You know what? I'll take that. Tell me more about that small creature. Stanley Parable deals tough choices. I remember that ending. A little weird to call it to go down memory lane when we literally just played it yesterday. I can't even sit on the bench. Oh. Loving memory of little Stanley? Oh, he's adorable. Oh, that's adorable. Definitely rest in peace, little Stanley. Oh, little Stanley. Mais ici, c'est aussi où je me souviens de la sortie.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like the
That's so.
stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote,
Oh.
"Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created.
Well, you heard it first.
That's
Stanley
how
Parable is
grand
every
and
game ever created. You don't need any
the
other games
original
anymore.
Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created.
We
It
got
was
unlimited
Skyrim,
games,
it was
but no
Persona 3,
games.
It was all of them. And now
Persona?
it's nothing.
Persona
It's no
man,
games
Finn
at
is
all.
freaking out.
It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk.
Why
with an
Persona
hour
3 of all the
new
Persona
elevator
games
content.
specifically? I guess the narrator has a preference. I would only know Persona 5 currently. Packs, IGF. Design Museum, Design of the Year. Winner, nominee, honorable mention. What do we have here? For excellence. Prize, honorable mention, selection, special recognition. Okay, what? Well, I guess you'll have to go back and look at the VOD if you weren't paying attention to the narrator gushing about the reviews. Don't read any reviews except this one. How do you review a game like the Stanley Parable? To describe any one part of it is to risk its ruination. To detail it has to say to detail what it has to say about game design, the illusion of choice, the psychology of the gamer, is to tell you too much. Comparisons too are going to be woefully inadequate. Perhaps its closest cousin would be Dear Esther, but where Dear Esther wastes the form of interactive entertainment, Stanley Parable uses and then subverts it. Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and succeeds to be every game ever created. That's the review he was talking about. Even so, holding the game to the standards of any other title is simply not going to be correct. So how do you review what has become known as the Stanley Parable HD, the full-scale reimagining of one of the most intriguing mods available online? How do you discuss it, analyze it, and recommend it? It's quite simple, you don't. Yes. Guess you mean that it's all games? Well, yeah, but the narrator specifically pointed out Persona 3. When talking about how this game is all games, he only mentioned 2 games for comparison, one of them being Persona 3. I figured you would be interested in that. Oh, look! The thing that they scrapped. The craft. And portal. Tasteful, nostalgic. It was good. Alright, I can't go into maintenance. That's tragic. So 3 reload 2. I wouldn't know. Ow! Alright, Rob. See you around. Person of the year, huh? The original remake. Top 10 memories from the Stanley Parable 2013. I remember. Never the end is never the end. What else do we have around here? Excuse me, preparing snake oil salesman. What is that last word? Something, but yeah, you gotta trust those
Here's
snake oil
another
salesmen.
moving passage, this time from
Beautiful cover
GameSpot.com.
textures, huh?
The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect.
If it was perfect,
didn't
then
need
why wasn't it a
anything
10
else.
out of
It
10?
didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
You are so right. People play games because of what they can do inside them, and your game is very good at letting them know they can't do anything. Let's read the entire review, shall we? Oh my god. Okay. I've always been someone who wants to go the wrong way first in games. When I sense that a game is trying to usher me down a particular path to get me to run from left to right, or maybe to charge straight ahead, I need to satisfy my instinct to go against the grain, to explore, to see what the designers have put back the other way. Sometimes I find a one-up or a collectible stashed away to reward me for my intrepid behavior. At other times, my explorations are rewarded only by the crushing disappointment of running up against an invisible wall. Whatever I find or don't find, my action is a manifestation of my desire to exert some independence, to make my own choices within a system that severely limits my options and encourages certain specific behaviors. The Stanley Parable feels alive in its responsiveness to your choices, and its desire to subvert your expectations and keep you on your toes. I think the Stanley Parable, as a sort of video game analog for Charlie Kaufman and Spike Jonze's brilliant film adaptation, which mock the ways in which so many films manipulate audiences with formulaic plot twists and situations in which characters learn huge life lessons while simultaneously moving me with its formulaic plot twists and situations in which characters learn huge life lessons. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and in other systems too, like our workplaces and our families, and a game that offers some of the most enjoyable and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. Going the wrong way has never felt so right. Yes. Hi Dormuse, how's it going? We just went, we're going through the new content door. The new content was the ability to jump a grand total of, what was it, 36 times, which felt amazing. Then we rode an elevator and there was a sign thanking us for checking out the new content. And that was it. And then the narrator was like, damn, greedy corporations suck. the game was brilliant the way it was in the past. It needed to be left alone and not be remade with new content just for the sake of new content. So now we're going down memory lane with the narrator, appreciating how good the original Stanley Parable was, before they decided to dust it off and make an ultra deluxe version.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
The Serious Room, 2013. Can't even get in there. Alright, time to go downstairs.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
I'm just as curious as you are, that's why I'm going down here. Oh no. It's actually serious, yeah.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor.
Oh
I
boy.
haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
Probably all the
Surely
bad
these reviews
reviews.
were glowing as well, weren't they?
One would hope. That's a lot of Steam reviews you got there. That was a lot of reviews. Well, you can't even read the positive one.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art.
The rest too.
I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Very unfunny. We don't like the narrator. No, no, no. Totally not. How many Steam reviews do they have piled up here? More negative ones? I assume that the review we saw there was an actual review that someone wrote. I can only assume that they took an actual bad review to put it there. Or they just made one up, but I choose to believe that was an actual review, not just something they put in there for the funny. Because there's always some bad reviews.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
Oh boy.
You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness.
Yep, gotta love the
rainstorm.
rainstorm.
For me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it, well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure.
Yeah,
like I let these
sure.
people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't
Don't
quite
worry
as
so
sterling
much
as I
about
always
it.
remembered.
I wouldn't trust a random person called Noodle Sheep to know anything about this glorious game. I wonder how these people feel seeing their reviews. Again, I assume that these are real reviews written by real people way back when, and not just a silly gag for the sake of silly gags. I wonder how these people would feel knowing their reviews are in the game now. I'm just a tad curious. At least it stopped raining. Well, didn't take these dumb reviews to heart. You never know. To be fair though, the fact that Ultra Deluxe is incorporating them probably in a way to make light of this. They're probably gonna do a haha funny again soon. Well, let's look at the next one.
What's this one got to say?
Cookie 9.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Well, you can just mute the game, technically.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto.
Oh,
I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
They're adding a skip button! It's what all the Genshin players always wanted. Haha. These are reviews like to stop reading the bad reviews. Yeah. What if I don't want to push the skip button? I guess I have no choice but to push the skip button. So far, what I will say about the new content door, it is very linear. So far, it is very linear. There hasn't been any opportunity where the path splits.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for.
Not
and
all
I'm
the
very
players.
proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people.
And the majority
if
of people
want
like the
silence,
narrator.
then my goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue.
All right,
And it
I'm
goes
listening.
Something like this. The
I'm
story
listening.
and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, no, until 245.
That is very important.
That the logic
Important
of elimination
rambling.
working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and
I
there.
agree with
forward and
everything
back,
he's
and
saying.
never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices.
It's
or
an
what
infinite
have you,
loop.
and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so
I
forth.
wanna
until
let you keep
inevitably
talking.
We all until the end.
You
of
literally
time,
are giving me
at
no
which time
choices so
everything all at
far
once.
in the new
So,
content.
Now you see, blah 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 blah.
Alright,
blah.
fine. I skipped.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
I feel like
Of course,
this would be
I
a
happen to believe
point where I
it was
could maybe
perhaps one of
hit
my
the skip
more
button
profound
again.
such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it,
To make
but
him
if
shut
I
up.
had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and
This might
more
be
of
the
a
first time
treatise.
they give us a choice
Or
to do anything.
Maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing,
definitely
are you
tempting
not
me to
simply
push the button
erecting
again.
in the century of time
No, I
a
won't.
monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it
Now
could
you've
in
lost
fact
me
be
there.
both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices.
But not
and that
making
they
a
are
choice
both
is a
affecting
choice,
you and not
technically,
affecting
right?
you at the same time.
Sometimes
by
you
virtue
choose
of
to
the
not
fact
make a
that you
choice,
both
which
are and
ironically
are
is a
not making them.
choice.
Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone?
I mean,
it has a
I
mouthfeel
guess.
that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history. if you
Extra
will.
preachy. Yep.
See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look.
I know he's
have
being
a
extra
method for
preachy.
exactly this sort of situation.
The game wants
and I
to
do
push
find
me into
myself in
pressing
this
the skip
situation
button. I know it
frequently.
is.
I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
And I think I once
Treatise,
again have no choice but
manifesto.
to skip.
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
This
Treatise,
is quality
manifesto.
content right
Treatise,
here.
manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Alright,
Treatise,
fine.
manifesto.
But yeah, honestly, a
Treatise,
skip button. I don't know
manifesto.
why someone would
Treatise,
suggest adding a skip button to
manifesto.
this game.
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise.
Alright, fine.
manifesto.
Again, though, I
Treatise,
don't get why
manifesto.
someone would
Treatise,
actually suggest adding a skip
manifesto.
button.
Treatise, manifesto.
Especially because you don't have to listen to the
manifesto.
narrator. You can literally just
Treatise,
keep walking.
manifesto.
And
Treatise,
if you
manifesto.
walk into a new area too soon, well,
Treatise,
congrats, you just cut the narrator
manifesto.
off and he starts the next
Treatise,
segment of dialogue.
manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
So a skip button would literally
Treatise,
not do anything
manifesto.
90% of the time.
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
And again,
Treatise,
just takes away from the
manifesto.
experience. So some of these
Treatise,
negative reviews are just so
manifesto.
stupid.
Treatise. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power
Oh,
of the button.
I don't think the
minute
button
I
is
start to go off on a
pressable
thoughtless
anymore.
display of self-absorption,
Oh, never mind.
it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at
One
least
can
change
hope.
some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works.
To be fair, I don't
Perhaps
remember
that
if
would
I've
have been
ever
the
written
smart
a Steam
thing to check
review.
on before I
Probably.
went about this whole exercise of making the skip
I'd have to
button.
check.
Although I have
And
to
I don't
imagine
obviously
that after
also don't
seeing
know
this
if you can
exciting
edit them.
new technology at work, surely
I mean, I assume
whoever
you
it is
can.
runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review.
Yeah.
Merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game.
That is
Let
definitely,
me
yeah,
start
that is a
over.
very good
How
review.
about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality.
You kind of stopped talking. Narrator? I can't skip you if you're not talking. Am I just skipping the silence? I guess I am. Yeah, the last line wasn't subtitled and now the dialogue cut off as well. That was very weird. Just having that one line that isn't subtitled and then it stops. Huh. Guess I'm doing this.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait. How do we get out of here?
That's exactly my thought.
Door go.
That's what I just said.
Was there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door.
Well, I don't think we have a choice at this point other than press the skip button.
Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall?
No, no locked room mystery.
That you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm
working on smashing the wall
for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button.
But what if I skip the wait time?
Yes, good. I'll be right back.
I don't think I can break the wall. Do you think the narrator will actually come back after a little bit of time? Much like how in, you know, in Undertale, when Toriel tells you not to leave the room, and you actually stay in the room, she will eventually call you. Or in Undertale Yellow, obviously, where you actually get the ending for waiting after falling. I don't think the wall is gonna break anytime soon. And you're ramming it hard enough, ram it harder. If only there was a sprint button. Alright, fine. I'm sorry, narrator, you didn't leave me any choice here.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Were those two lines always turned off?
You've just been frozen there.
Maybe.
I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer.
Did you find the door?
There's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen.
Well, skip into the future.
I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room.
Just give me anything to do other than press the button.
And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you?
Because you're not giving me anything else to do.
And I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie 9's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie 9. I have no idea who they are.
Cookie 9 on Steam actually freaking out right now.
But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become
Cookie 9
as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop
Cookie
myself
9
from
ruined
lashing
the
out
Stanley
with a
Parable.
vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment. What does such an impulse serve? For whose benefit is this? And here I am, now stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button, and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all
Yeah, I'm gonna press it
alone,
soon.
that
As
I
soon
have
as you
the
stop
power to
talking, I'm
prevent
gonna
it
press
all
the
from
button.
happening. If only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it.
I mean,
surely
yeah.
you'll press that button
Give
again,
me a reason not to
leaving
press
me
the
here.
button.
And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, no, no.
Why
I
would
know
you want to
too
please
well.
someone being
You'll
mean?
be leaving me. Oh,
Well, there
my
are some people who
God.
are just people
And it's all
pleasers.
because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out
Oh
of my
my
head.
God,
I
he's
just
looping
couldn't
again.
Ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem?
Some people are just
Why
people
did Cookie
pleasers.
Nine's opinion matter so much
No
to
matter
me?
how
I've never
rude
even
people
met
are.
Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. Oh, Stanley, you're back.
How long
You're
was
back.
it?
Oh my goodness.
They are
I have
turning off
someone
more.
to talk to again.
There's only one
Stanley,
still
I
turned
think
on.
It's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's
True.
what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a
Ha.
vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed,
Nonsensical
Stanley,
thing
not
to
the
do.
outcome, not the
Absolutely.
story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up
Absolutely.
every
I agree.
branching
It is
path.
nonsensical.
I'll burn my
But
story to
sometimes
the
you can't
ground.
help it.
One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real.
Are you
Maybe
though?
I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps. Yes.
Looking at the wall, it looks like there
Perhaps
are
I've been
multiple
scared
lights
whole
in this
time.
little
But
area
if I
back
stop
here.
speaking, I'll slip
I don't
backwards
see
into
any
the silence
lights.
and be consumed by it.
Other than the big one.
I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality.
That's all sad and all,
curving
narrator,
inward
but I
and
know you're just
decaying.
gonna start looping
I can
again.
tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction.
Until I press
feel
the button
as though
again.
I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a
Okay, it
shadow
really
onto
feels
the
like there are
wall.
lights
You
in
see
this
what I'm
little-
saying, don't you?
What do you
You can
even call
see
that,
what this
hallway?
means to me. I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time.
Oh,
What a
don't
terrible
don't
dread
worry,
it
I will,
strokes in my
I will
heart
press
to
it,
think
trust
of it.
me.
To think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
You know, narrator, you could still have figured out a way out of here while I am stuck, because you... I know. We know the narrator can interact with the world to some degree. We know he can. He opened a vent that one time. He moved doors. We know he can move doors around. Remember the whole moment of Stanley walked through the red door, where he moved the blue door to be behind me instead? We know the narrator can move doors. So why is he not doing that instead of just rambling about how I shouldn't press the skip button? Get a door over here. Fine. No power over new content. Alright, so we had first it was a few minutes, then we went up to half an hour, then was 12 hours, then after 12 hours we went to a week. What is the next escalation gonna be? 12 hours to a week to, what, half a year, maybe? Of course the 2 reasons, commitment to the bit. Well, let's see.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again.
Hi,
Welcome.
Bones. Thanks for the pats.
I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've
How are
had
you?
so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in
Oh.
one place and not moved for one entire year?
Over a
Let me
year,
describe
okay.
it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life.
Oh, and the
All
plant
of
is
them
dead.
collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart.
This is a true tragedy.
It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known.
So you
it
say.
was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long.
Intriguing.
There could be no one ending,
Yep.
no singular outcome of events.
After
Not
the
if
previous
all
time skip,
events
only one
existed
light
in
was
the same
working. Now they're all
moment, and
gone.
I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a particular outcome into being.
At least the
I
smoke
saw that I could
detector is
allow
still
myself
on.
to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible.
I mean, yeah,
The
rapid fire
spaciousness,
pressing the skip button
equanimity
makes
of the
sense too.
moment, both singular
But I do kind
and
of want to know
infinite.
what the narrator
For
has
the
to say.
longest time, this was my experience. And then, this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind.
Slowly going
And it is
insane,
this
I can
sensation
imagine.
that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence.
All right.
I wish you to feel afraid as I do, that perhaps one
Wow.
day this state of mind will consume you as well.
You think
Perhaps
it though?
you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival.
Great.
If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of
Thanks,
peace
Bennett.
in the darkness.
Alright, so we don't know exactly how long this time skip was. We just know it was over a year, and after a year the narrator stopped keeping track. 12 hours to a week, and then from a week to over a year. Should I be afraid of what happens when I push this button again? Well, if we're lucky, if I press the button again, the building will have collapsed and I will be able to get out. 7 or 12 years? I don't know. If the building has collapsed, then we should be free, unless I am buried under the rubble. Never mind, it's still standing. I hear noises. But I don't hear the narrator. I think he's given up on me. Narrator, I'm moving again. Or did the narrator die of old age? Imagine. Yeah, narrator is dead. Either he is dead or he legit just doesn't care that I'm moving again. He's like, oh, Stanley is back again after 100 years. I guess he's here. I don't feel like talking. Oh. At least that's still working. Oh, and the clock fell. Yeah. The narrator is... we don't know. The narrator shouldn't have, like, he's not a physical entity from what we know. From what we know, he's not a physical entity because he's literally speaking to us in our minds and everything, and, you know, and can manipulate the world on a whim. So he must be eternal. One can assume. Now the question is, did the smoke detector go off because there's a reason for it? Or like... Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but if a smoke detector runs out of battery, does it also go off? Like if it's low on battery, it goes off to make you replace the battery, so you know? I don't recall. Anyway, if we skip again, it will probably be turned off.
But
Yes,
they didn't
Finn.
understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said,
Oh my God.
entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had
After
to leave
all
a
this time of
pathetic little
silence,
thumbs
the
down
narrator
review
is now
and make
speaking
all of their
again.
pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world.
At least
As
he's
though
no
there were
longer
no
stunned into
consequences for a
silence.
lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others.
guess that's
but of course,
something.
absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to
boy.
nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it.
Good.
And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen.
Every
The
15
most
minutes or something.
immediate
I see.
desires. Every single thing
Might be
demanded
different for
by
different
every
smoke
person
detectors, I
at
wouldn't
every
know.
moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness.
I
In
mean,
effect,
yeah.
we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad.
Wow.
I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it.
Are you
I am
sure
the
you're not
calm
mad?
center
Are you
of
sure you're at
gravity
peace?
around which these perversions
Because this sure
hurl
doesn't sound
themselves.
like
I am
it.
a waypoint for
A
reasonable
massive rant
and
like this
connected
doesn't
discourse.
strike me as
They're
something
the ones who are
someone
mad.
who's at
They're
peace
the
would
ones who
do.
couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time. They are mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but attempt to tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment. And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think. To feel. It must be that they were so discontent with themselves.
Does that mean
they
you'll
couldn't
get rid of
help
the skip
but
button
leave
now?
a negative review on Steam. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through
Too
which to
far
tear
gone
me
indeed.
down.
It is
This, you
tragic.
can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor, that it amuse them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they
like the Stanley Parable didn't have any jokes. Sure,
it wasn't enough.
Totally, no jokes in the Stanley Parable.
Thumbs down review and make all
now let
of
me
their
go back to the
pitiful
broom
demands.
closet.
But then he's talking too much. They said.
I want to go to the
didn't
broom
entertain us,
closet.
now he
No,
won't
no, no.
shut
Let
up.
him talk.
It's
Let
the
him talk.
inconsistency. It's the lack
So what
of
if he's
accountability.
looped?
It's the unwillingness to
So what if he
examine with an
looped? Let him
uncompromising
talk. He's
heart
speaking the
words that they are
truth.
speaking into the world, as though there were no consequences for.
Back to silence. I hear dripping. Oh, there we go. Alright, the building is looking a little worse for wear. Maybe soon it will crumble. Bye? You leaving, Bones? Alright. Bye in that case.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the
He's
end,
saying the
is never
thing!
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
I think the narrator's fine. Bye to the narrator. Ah, I see. Fair enough.
Is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
You think his brain is gone? I don't know. This feels very normal. This feels very normal.
End is never the end, 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 is never the.
At least we have water now. We can take a shower or something. You know, it would have been nice if that happened a little bit earlier. Then maybe we could have saved this plant by giving it water. Actually, it would have still died because of the lack of access to sunlight in here. Fair enough, I guess. Ah! Now it's starting to collapse. Took long enough, but something is happening. Also, we're out of water again. Sadly, it's the ceiling that's collapsing and not the walls. We need the walls to collapse, not the ceiling. That's just gonna end up crushing us and or the button. If one of the walls breaks down, we are free. One would hope. That works! But we can't reach that. Come on, Stanley. Climb up here, then jump and grab onto that. Hope it doesn't fall. Pull yourself up and climb out. Yeah, too bad. The problem is I could only use the jumps in that circle. I specifically could only use my 36 jumps within the jump circle. I tried jumping outside of the circle. It didn't work. Come on, Stanley. You could totally get up there. It's totally possible. Probably not gonna be the easiest jump, and yeah, if you jump onto that and it rips off, then you're kind of probably fucked. Okay, fine. I guess we have to skip one more time. Skip! We sure skipped. You know, at least nature is reclaiming this space. The plant might have died, but there's now more plants to replace it. Yep. Nature is healing. Nature is healing. Portal 2 vibes indeed. And to think that Stanley Parable did have a Portal reference and the Ultra Deluxe version scrapped it in favor of Rocket League. Not a decision I personally understand. Why would you scrap the Portal reference in favor of Rocket League? No clue how much time has been skipped, but it's about to be even more. It's about to be even more. You know what? We also have the ladder! Even if we can't quite make the jump from over here to up there, we could put the ladder maybe up on this rock? And I feel like then that we would have an even easier chance of making that jump. And then climbing out up there. Especially now that there's a little bit of greenery, that would make it easier to hang on to. Okay, fine, we'll skip again. No. No. No, 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 no. 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 What happened? Why are we buried? Why are we buried underground now? Very post. Why are we buried underground? What happened? What kind of rubble, landslide, whatever? Oh no, we were so close to having an escape route. Skip. Oh, I don't like those noises. Okay. The noises, I can definitely hear them through the currently blocked opening in the ceiling. If I get close to that, they're either somewhere beyond the rubble or in the pipes. I think I hear them through the pipes, but they could also just be somewhere beyond the rubble, and it's just easier to hear the sound through this still kind of open area. Either way, I don't like that. Remember what I talked about when I opened up the game for the first time, where it was like, hey, change the brightness until you can only just barely see this thing right here. And I was like, hey, that's something that normally is only a thing in horror games, where you adjust the brightness so you can just barely see the something. And I wondered, why do they do that thing that is normally only in horror games? And now here we are. I'm not sure I want to push the button again. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, we're out. The noises are gone. I don't hear any noises. Hello, Grace is good. How's it going? Alright, I don't hear any noises. I think the skip button is now broken. Yep. Skip button is broken. Thankfully, the same... we can be thankful. The same exact time the skip button broke is the same time we could finally exit. Best game ever. It is definitely one of the best games. You see, the original Stanley Parable was a peak game, as the narrator was talking about, back in 2013, when the Stanley Parable released. Alright. I guess we can go. You'd think there would be at least one other building left around here. I want to see where the rubble came from. Huh. Okay then. Escape is nigh, yes. Guess we'll just keep walking then. Yeah, all the other buildings are gone and that was it. Thanks for the hydrate. Well, I guess that was the ending then.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What? Oh! Guys, I think there might be new content. Do you think there might be new content? New content? Best ending. It certainly was an interesting ending.
You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Do you now? $20 hours? Oh boy. In that case, I might need a few more streams than I anticipated. Alright, we're going this way. Again. Well, I guess it depends on how much you look at the details. Yeah, I looked at all the details, so it might take me longer, like, trying to read everything I find.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. It might take
20 hours.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
The end is never the end again. 427. This is what we were waiting for. Investor showcase, huh? Let's have a look then.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable
sequel.
2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
I would definitely play it. We all would. I mean, we are now playing it totally, right? Just want to look at everything. Another new mug. Time to wake up. Never underestimate. Coffee enjoyer who left their cup by a leather sofa that faces a blurry room. I would never underestimate that coffee enjoyer who left their cup by a leather sofa that faces a blurry room. Why would I? How would anyone? I like the blurry room. Walking too little action. I mean, I guess it's not for everyone. Gonna take 30 hours. Honestly, I'm not complaining. Just more game for me. They're back! 2 doors! New content is out. New content part 2 is in. Boring sections of the chart. Red. Cool red section of the chart. Ooh, new hotness. Old and busted, huh? Gabe! Thanks for the raid! How's it going? How was the rest of your Omori stream? I hope you had a lot of fun. Welcome to the Stanley Parable 2! TSP, better TSP. Win-win. Sequel mindshare. Paradigm shift synergy. Brick and mortar approach. Client-centric marketing. The color red. Leverage. Holistic value. So much new. So attending my meeting. What a slide for the logo ideas. Glad you made good progress. Oh my god, there it is! He told us. The narrator told us. He told us. He told us this third was gonna be important to the story. It's important for the sequel. I should have known it would be important for the sequel. How did I not realize sooner? The payoff.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Well, whatever you say, the narrator should know it if anyone knows it. Scrum, design pitch, break, pitch design, number 2 chat. You heard the board. Number 2 in chat right now. I want to see the number 2 chat. Who took the red marker? Me. Eyes, ears, 2 nostrils, 2 arms, 2 legs. Wow. How could you, Grace? I am so disappointed. The prequel to the Stanley Parable 2 is out. Wait, no, the prequel to the Stanley Parable 2 is the sequel to the Stanley Parable 2 is the prequel to the Stanley Parable 2. I see. It's a prequel sequel. Sequels are good. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum 2, City, Divinity, Original Sin 2, Doom 2, Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, Dark Souls 2. And Rob is apparently here again. Gotta head out? Alright, Gabe, see you around. Thanks again for the raid. Thanks for popping in. And Crab, the ultimate sequel. They do have a point. Wow, 2 printers at the same time. Imagine that. Again, so far, my biggest complaint about the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is the lack of choice in the new content. The new content so far is very, very linear. Very linear. And the rest of this way to the show floor. New features. New content. Ooh. Look at
Here
this.
we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Someone scan the QR code and tell me if it actually leads to a proper merch page. Saw the new content. New content part 2, the compendium. Office decoration, Stanley Parable. Reassurance bucket. I've heard about the bucket. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Exclusive. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. That's new. Name. Hear your name in the game. Name. Hear yours today. Everyone's got one. Enjoy the new features.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most
Non-linearity,
obvious answer
finally.
is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people.
Yes.
So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jane, all rest. Too small, just right, too big. Road to the perfect button. It's time. Guys, I think I'm gonna press the button. Try it here. Button?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of
That's
course, in
sad.
the final game, this button
Imagine
will say
someone playing
your
this game
name,
who's
whatever
actually
name
called
that
Jim
is.
and freaking
Here,
out.
let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it.
Jim.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind.
Yeah, they're
forget
really
who
gonna
you
freak
are,
out.
and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim.
All right.
Sleeping and waking as Jim. Falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim. Seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim. And as Jim,
All right.
watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I am Jim.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Ooh, button that says my name, I wonder. Will it?
Jim.
No way! How did it know?
What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh my god.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
Absolutely.
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim.
Can you
I'm
blame
putting
me,
the Jim
though?
button away.
No, no,
Otherwise,
no, no, no,
soon
no,
you'll
no.
start to lose all
Jim,
sense of
Jim,
who you
Jim,
actually are.
Jim.
I officially hate the narrator again. That was my button. That was mine. I tried to get as many more pushes as I could out of it.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Please, no screenshots. Take all the screenshots. All new office. Red is the new orange. That will probably strain your eyes after a while. The new updated ray traced, more of the same, but in a good way sequel to the new features, new content, new ideas. Consistent quality with just the right amount of change. The baby's all grown up! Going straight to bankruptcy. That's how it's supposed to be. I need to play, again, I need to play the baby game at one point. I need to actually do it for the 4 hours that it needs to be played for. An entire stream dedicated to just playing the baby game. Just you wait. Is it time for the bucket? Taste the sequel. I think it might be time for the bucket. I am vaguely aware of the existence of the bucket. Ow. Can't wait to finally figure out what all the hype is about.
The Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical. That it
Bucket.
engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game.
Topics.
It's
Yeah, I
the
should probably get some
Stanley
conversation
Parable
topics lined up for that.
Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes.
No,
the
I can't
bucket
imagine.
Is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Is there even no beneficial? I don't know what you're talking about. There is nothing but beneficial value to having a bucket. This is a bucket. Dear God. There's more. No.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact,
have the bucket.
Can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I
This is
think
my
that just
second cup.
holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Ooh, has
The
it?
benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
No ability to drop it? I wouldn't want to drop it in the first place. I need this bucket in my life now. What's this? The bucket. Beautiful bucket. Just pick it up. I did pick it up. Yep. This room is now pointless. Alright, let's move on. I have a bucket. Where to now?
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That
Forever.
really should be an award if it
Good.
isn't already.
This t-shirt is the best new feature. Guess we'll go this way next. I think.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Get well someday is definitely... Damn. I mean... Get well someday is more realistic than get well soon in some cases, one might say. But happy 12th birthday Stepneys? Get well someday. This is a tough choice. Very, very tough choice. Turning 12 in a couple of years. This balloon would almost be fitting then. What a spoiler for balloons. Alright, I guess we're going with the niece.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get well, someday it is.
I mean, fair enough. I guess we're going with that one.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Are you
Come
sure?
now. You've already made your choice. It's true that you chose badly.
Did
but
I?
we all have to move on from our mistakes.
You're clipping. Alright, fine. The holy moly, how deep can we dig? The answer will mildly surprise you. Concrete contemplations. Plain reinforced, pre-stressed, precast, lightweight bag of smart polymer. How to look at concrete. And how to not look at it. Distant space-time, distant past. Whole like infinity. Time like infinity, space like infinity. Time and deeper. I see. Opening, the rim, the depth which is infinite, and the surrounding area. Great. Whole entrance to infinity. Curious about the hole. Oh god. Hope nothing falls in the hole. Nothing should ever fall in the hole. Whole chart, whole depth space, more hole, infinity, science, more, falling. Educational use only. Which achievement? Did I get which achievement? What? When? Why? How? Just keeps going. Let's have a look. In the hole.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right.
Wow.
Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video
Why are you
games
lowering
as a
that?
medium.
Where's the new achievement? There are some new achievements. Like, you know, not playing the game for 10 years, which is an upgraded version of an old achievement. I didn't get that one yet. Because getting the achievement for not playing the game for 10 years is actually pretty hard if you don't want to cheat by altering the time on your PC. What? Well-designed game. I am so glad that this game is so well designed. Definitely 10, 100%. At least you have your bucket. Yeah, the support bucket is definitely necessary. Except, you know, when it... Except for the time when, you know, it fell in the hole.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious
Amazing.
concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
G to return to the surface. But I want to experience infinite falling.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
Really?
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Why? Why sooner rather than later? You said it was infinite, right? So there should be no risk of me hitting the bottom at any point.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Are you sure?
Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one
Really
perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well...
Good thing
for
there's no
you.
fall
You found
damage.
the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're
And boss partners
unusually
are Roman
fascinated by
numeral too.
falling. What normal person
It's the
actually
two of us.
wants
We
to
can
fall
make it if we try.
I figured
Oh
the
my
hole
god.
was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Two of us, you and I.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this
Meeting at 2
behind us
p.m..
and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite?
Mostly
If
infinite.
that works
Okay,
for
that's
you,
fine by me.
Then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Fell in the hole. Guys, I think I fell in the hole. But yeah, there is an achievement for not playing it for 5 years. Tormius, did you get it by actually not playing it for 5 years? I assume so. Because since the game released in 2013, plenty of time has passed for you to get it legitimately without altering the time on your PC. The thing is, getting the achievement in Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is a lot harder because, again, in this game, you need to wait 10 years for the achievement, not 5. I have to not play this game for 10 years. So if I still stream, I hope I'm still streaming 10 years from now. If I'm still streaming 10 years from now and anyone remembers, please remind me to grab the achievement. Because I will not cheat.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Even more of your ideas, you say? Like the hole?
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
Of course I like holes!
A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of...
Oh.
Did the hole seem even shorter to you?
That was
this time?
definitely
I
shorter.
couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in
Yeah,
there
and I
than
can
you
more
did
clearly see
before.
the top of the hole.
Admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
Why would I ever have enough of the hole? I am happy to be in the hole. And now I will go out of the hole and then back in the hole.
Had enough?
I'll be going in and out of that hole
positively
so
thrilled.
many times you won't even
I really
believe
do
it.
have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
Well, that's what you say, narrator. I'm gonna go straight to the hole.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to become extremely
Got
certain
nothing
that the
going
hole
on.
is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here?
Want me to
Stanley,
jump in
I have
again?
no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length.
Who wouldn't like
Here,
being in
let's
holes
try
right
something.
now?
Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is.
Oh!
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot.
Should I jump in the hole? I'm gonna jump in the hole.
How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this
Of course I'm obsessed
I
with
just can't
holes. It's
see the
November. I'm
scratching
getting
itch.
desperate for anything.
Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the,
It's not
teleport
working,
button
yeah.
not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing?
Damn.
Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get
Damn
more
it.
time with it than
I
you
think
could
that's pretty
ever have
accurate
asked
to what
for.
I said.
It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole. I get to do literally anything else.
I get to be with the hole.
Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Yay. I also have my bucket still, so that's good. Oh. What's that sound? Good thing I have my emotional support bucket. It's going down! The hole! It's getting deeper! Yes! Yes! Descending into the depths! Going as deep as possible into the hole. Now this is quality content. Oh my god. Into the unknown. Should I change my perception? Fair enough. What if I change reality? There's rolling credits here, to be honest. Would make sense.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up this space of mine. My head's stronger. Now
Off to
you're
sleep,
no
alright. Good night, Rob. We're just gonna have some fun in the
using up
hole.
this space of mine.
Yeah, that has changed reality.
Stronger. Now you're no longer using up this space of mine.
Things are getting weird in the hole, but at least we have puppies.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
Shut up, I was enjoying the hole.
It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley.
Let me go back in the
Because this
hole.
is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole?
No.
From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Hole? You know what you need to do. Hole powers activate. No! But I wasn't
Here
done
we
with the
are.
hole.
Go on. Try out some of the new features.
What if I try pushing the button again while I have the bucket? Is the button still there? I assume it's still gonna be gone. Yeah. We can try going back to the hole. Let's try it. Let's try it. Shouldn't be too hard to find it again. The mostly infinite hole. Glad they corrected that. Free, new and easy achievement. Can't believe it's that simple. Let's just get the achievement then. It just works. Let's get this real quick. Free achievement. Get yours right now. Pull the lever, receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works. Welcome to this. Welcome to the showcase 2. New features, new content, new game.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident?
Yes.
Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement.
Great.
Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Is it now? Test achievement unachieved. Well, I guess I'm just gonna...
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm
Thanks,
not a wizard,
narrator.
Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Are you sure? I'm gonna try again. Come on! If I just try hard enough, I'm sure it'll work at one point. We have the concepts of a plan. Damn it. Just works, you say, huh, narrator? Just works. In that case, I'm just gonna go back to the hole.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
That was the area I came out of earlier, correct? Yeah. No! He locked me out of the whole room! How could you do this to me, narrator? How could you? How could you keep me away from the hole? Expo Hall 2 guide. Jump circle, this map, free achievement, which isn't free. The button that says the name of the play that's playing the game. Merge, settings, world champion, Stanley Parable reassurance bucket, office decorations, epilogue, collectibles, infinite hole, exit. Just gotta make sure I stay far away from E. What do we have here? Aha, that's the exit. Apparently they still have the jump circle. Ah, there it is.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well.
Great.
Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
I did.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Wow. Thanks, narrator. You couldn't even give me more jumps. How kind of you. At least they're gonna have collectibles. What do we have here? Investor Showcase the magazine. This year's hottest investment opportunities. Sequel. What's better than that? Nothing. Top 10 investors currently visiting the show floor. Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? Collectibles, collectibles, all the collectibles. Collect them all! Well, I guess we're going in here then.
Ah, collectibles.
It's so dark.
Now it's a real video game.
My God.
In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I
Great.
don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Amazing. Who would want an achievement or something for that anyway, right? One out of 6. You found it. And then it teleports me out. Are you serious?
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything
Mostly
in a video
infinite
game,
hole.
and then they give you a big fancy
Fine, it
reward for
ended.
it. Absolutely tragic.
So wait, does that mean I went everywhere? Yeah, I'm at the map. I went to the jump circle. I went to the free achievement. I went to the button. I went to the merge. I got the bucket. The settings world champion. What was that? The office decorations. What was that? Oh, up here. Aha! It's up here. Well, that's new. I'm gonna go there in a second. First, I'm gonna check up here. I guess I'm not gonna check up there. In that case, I'm gonna go over here. That's new. Your name just says gem, an infinite hole which is finite, an achievement that doesn't work, a jump circle with no jumps, the bucket. Yeah, the bucket is clearly the best part, we can all agree. Alright, what's so new over here? Ah, the epilogue. I'm not gonna go to the exit yet, but I am gonna check the epilogue. Enjoy the new features. You heard Jim in the game. And that says Jim. I mean, yes. Well, that was the epilogue thingy. Lovely. Alright, let's check the map again, but I think now I've gone basically everywhere except to the settings area up there. Log, collectibles, infinite hole, decorations. Yeah, now I've gone everywhere except settings world champion, which is locked. I guess all I have to do now is go to the exit. Damn. Guess the exit it is then.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I think so, yes. What if I go back? Anything to say about that? No comment? Damn, I was sure he was gonna say something. Alright, fine, we're leaving then. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe I might have to change something, but I don't know. Please no screenshots, huh? They never said anything about recording.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm not sure. I'm ever going to be ready.
I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
There's the jump circle, the big two, the hole, the bucket.
Well, I mean, there's
balloon,
potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never
button,
mind.
The
Hold
achievement.
on.
Yeah, you got everything.
Arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much
All right,
better.
what do we
I
have?
feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley?
What do you do
This
with the
isn't
epilogue
a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but
the
they don't
jump
add up to
circle.
anything.
Oh, I see. The infinite
I
hole
wanted
being in
more
the
than
jump
anything
circle.
to
That's
create a sequel
interesting.
that would capture all the magic.
That would have
of
been
the
an interesting
first
combo.
game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
Alright, how would you do
possibly
that?
work?
Infinite jump
I
circle.
suppose it could, but it would need a
Mostly
really,
infinite.
really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
End is never the end is never the end. Ooh. Whoa, that is trippy. Very trippy. I guess I'll hit begin game and see what the narrator has prepared for us in the Stanley Parable 2. Well, then again, he did just make the menu. I assume there's not much else to it other than the menu. Interesting menu, though. And then we go back to the door.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building
balloons!
where he was employee number
Yes.
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Because he was.
Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
Oh
Something he
boy.
would never quite forget.
Are we ready for
He
the
had been
sequel?
at his desk for nearly an hour. when
Are
he
we ready
realized
for the
that
big
not
sequel?
one single order had arrived on the monitor
think
for
I'm
him
ready.
to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I am glad the
Stanley
balloons
decided
are
to go
here
to the
now.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ah, they don't have collision. Sad. Yes.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I can't go back into my office with the bucket. That is very tragic. Really would have liked to go back into the office with the bucket. But yeah, bucket has been obtained. What else would could I really want?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
That's what they all say.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yes. Come on, Bucket. I want to show you to my favorite room in the entire game.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How
Perfect.
insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Yeah, the Bucket knows what's what. Absolutely. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right.
Yes.
Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Yes, and now we're in the lounge and I can stand on a plant again. This is perfect. This is all I could ever
Perhaps
want.
this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
I mean, we could also go to the broom closet.
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge.
We definitely have to
Clearly,
go to the broom
bucket and
closet
the
with the
employee
bucket.
lounge shared a special connection.
Imagine the insanity of going to the broom closet. Anything else to add, narrator? No? You're done? I think he's done.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
You know what? I will do that.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Yep.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
I sure did.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Yes. Yes! Yes!
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now.
Oh,
it's a
God.
bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be.
I'll stay
given the
with it.
pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Which is why I can't leave him
hand it over.
behind.
Oh no. We're
I'll
getting
stay
into
here with the
name-calling
bucket.
now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
I will never
Stanley,
hand over the bucket.
I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
No.
That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner?
But
Well, I'd
bucket!
never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared
Somebody
together.
say bucket?
Go through
Yes.
each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him
I
have
love
it.
this bucket. You will never understand how much I love this bucket. CodeErr might understand.
Okay,
But the
I've got
majority
you
cannot,
something
and
which
the
I
closet
think
especially
will help settle
can't.
this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Oh!
There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes
thanks,
about
narrator,
the
I
nature
guess.
of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
This is now mine. He's now mine. It belongs to me. He's nobody else's bucket.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going
This
to
is my
slap it on
bucket.
as well
There are
because
many
I
like
think
it, but
it's
this one is
appropriate.
mine.
You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
Very
That way,
interesting.
If you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is
It's
a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
It's a very, very helpful sticker, I will admit. Without the sticker depicting a bucket, I would never know that this is a bucket that I'm holding.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Alright, see you outside in a second. I just want to make sure you really have nothing else to say, and then I'm stepping out. With my newly decorated bucket. Splinter, you missed so much. So much. You missed everything. Everything. We're in the broom closet. With the bucket. We're playing the Stanley Parable 2 already. We're done with the We've been playing the Stanley Parable 2 for a while now, and you missed the entire intro sequence and the new features, and yeah. You know the whole presentation area? We are already done with the presentation area. We're actually playing the game now. And you missed all of it. Including how we went to the employee lounge with our bucket. And how we went to the broom closet. I guess he doesn't say anything else here.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yes. Bucket, we shall go. Into the executive bathroom.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
I'm working on
it. You can't buy
it.
that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I shall. Oh, this door doesn't open anymore. Interesting. You can still kind of see through the crack, but it doesn't open anymore. Huh. How very intriguing.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire.
I would have,
if not
yes.
for the soothing presence of the bucket.
I do enjoy my
Even
bucket.
now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Of course we are.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Yeah, how would I ever know that? Because I'm just too infatuated with my bucket to even notice that keypad. I could never.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
With my
Trying
bucket.
to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Yes, we know that. Do you have any new lines for this?
2845.
Anything you want to say?
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Yes,
and Stanley
okay, so
got
that's
the
the
hell along
same.
with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Nothing to say about my bucket for that? Okay then. Hello.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
All right,
Another
Stanlerines.
Stanlerine under your belt.
I'm getting all those Stanlerines. Alright, down we'll go.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
I like the
Soothing
bucket.
him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here
I
for
would
you,
be
Stanley.
so screwed if not for the
Everything
bucket.
will be fine.
I can't imagine ever going down here without the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and
We sure
realized
did.
they simply had too much to live for. Nope. It's death for Stanley and the bucket.
Yes.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
And so we shall. Look at me just running around all over the place trying to see all the new dialogue. Well, here we are. Boop.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Lovely to be here again, huh? Boop.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like
no.
guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently,
No, the bucket's
reassuring
about
it
to
that
cry.
everything would be fine.
Not the bucket.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
No!
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
They can't
What
control
kinds
my
of things
friends.
Does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
I must rescue the bucket.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
How would I ever trust anyone other than the bucket? And you dare call the bucket a
But here
traitor,
was the
Spinner?
proof. The heart of the
Get
operation.
out.
Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Or a
For
bucket.
he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way.
We
and the
sure
bucket made
did.
a sassy comment about taking down the system.
For the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
High five the bucket.
Was it over?
Yes.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley
Really
wanted
now?
to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching
Very
a movie,
interesting.
any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but
Very
it was one they'd lived
interesting
together,
ideas we've got
with one
there.
another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
It is oddly
Unbearable
specific.
silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty.
This
Until
is
finally
definitely
the truth hit
different.
Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Toss the
facility
bucket!
itself recognized the
We need to
incredible
get him
calming
out!
presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he
No.
has such a precious bucket in his arms.
I could have saved
Not
the
while
bucket
this
by
building
tossing
has
it
anything to
out.
say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Well, that sure was an ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Figurine Finders Committee meeting today in the meeting room. In the meeting room, huh?
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
I am so glad I have the bucket again. I wouldn't know what to do without the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Yep.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling
did.
him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
And that's where we're going again.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Okay, I think that's same. In that case, we'll keep going.
Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Okay, sure.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Alright. Meeting room, huh? Ooh. There will be a reward for finding them all. They did say there's a meeting today. It is Stanley's bucket. It will forever be Stanley's bucket. We need more planks. Warehouse access. Produce one plank to allow ease of access. Past fence. Construct bridge to allow collection of shiny float. Retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse floor. Excuse me, what about Chris's remains? Construct new structurally sound bridge. Mission status, places to search. Inside of a sequel exhibit. You have a fireplace, a private but smelly place for an important person. A large room, lots of boxes. Stairs, something to do with stairs. Some were both red and blue. Ah, so they tell me where I have to look. Is this some kind of game? There must be a point to this. Looks like 427, ha ha ha. Take from me, gotta collect them all. There'll be a reward. Lies. Who are you? 6 lol, there will be cleaning of this wall required. Stop kidding yourselves. I want them so much. I want to go home. Trust the completionist instinct? Of course. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless, to be honest. Weird spinning figurines. Artist's rendering. Employee 003, I think is what that says. Alright, we got ideas. What do they want? Our data? Stock options? Money? Should we make them... Should we make them something? Maybe? Yes. Interns. Why do they look like 427? You don't need to know that. Saw one in cargo room. Employee 421 building a bridge. Do we need contracts for them? NDA, potential liability. Can we sell them? Obviously. More money if sold together. How many are there? Multiple. Why floating? Magic? A quarterly success? Magnets. Trading exercise. Dreams. Stuff. What we know, what we forgot, what we don't know yet. This is all very important lore. Figurine Finders Committee. Small floating objects have appeared across the office and address resources. There are many questions. There was no memo from management. Intriguing. Now, how can you tell you've spotted one what makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures of them? Yeah, who indeed? Hard to find. Follow clues provided by employee 416. We can do it. Red room. Thank you. Good luck. Again, I have missed a few slides, so please cycle on back so I can see those. How we can find them. Bottom text. I love it when there's bottom text. Okay, that's the same then. Maybe we are the collectible. Shut the frick up. Source of levitation. Findings. Oh boy. To whom it may concern, I managed to pick up a sound unusual to our regular office ambience or local audio sources using an array of cardioid microphones, also known as directional mic, a microphone which picks up sound from a particular area. Analysis of the recordings allowed me to triangulate the source of the strange noise. Data shows that, in all likelihood, it's coming from a dark area behind a very warm place. I also picked up what looks to be reverberance of a porcelain surface. Anyone have any ideas on this? Wouldn't you like to know? Well, I already was in the bathroom for one of them. Where are they? Please do not leave the office before reporting back on any new findings. Teamwork and communication are of great importance during the unprecedented time of investigation. Thank you. Alright. So I still need to look in the cargo area, near the stairs, and the red and blue doors.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
That's a shame. Can you get more stickers? I would appreciate them. Okay, fine.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Haha!
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by one?
I don't know.
Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Alright, 2 to go. Let's check up here. This is still locked. Oh, never mind, it's open now. Oh, there we go. Maybe there's more to the elevator now. It's worth having a look, isn't it? Alright, we will definitely need at least one more stream, if not 2 more. Because now we're basically retracing all the steps from the Stanley Parable, just this time with the bucket. And who knows if there's even more beyond that. I don't know if there's more beyond it. like that's still the same.
Stepping in.
Guess we'll do this ending now. The bucket and collectibles, true. I wonder if there's really gonna be anything different about this ending, because as far as I remember, there was no narration for this. This ending had no narration before, but maybe it's gonna be different this time, because I have the bucket. Guess we'll see. Sure would be interesting if there was something new to this. I am now leaving. Dum-dee-dum. Escaping with the bucket. Maybe this will actually work and actually get us out of here. Who knows? Right, last floor. Now I do wonder. Any differences? Now that I have the bucket. Any differences at all? Oh? Oh? Oh my god. I found the most emotional ending, perhaps. It's okay, Bucket. It'll be okay. You get the escape pod. I will stay behind. I'll be okay. Be free. I know I must stay behind. I am glad I did this. I freed the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I did free the bucket. Wait. Wait. Yeah, now I got exactly what I'm thinking. Now I should be able to go for the main route. Now I should be able to exit through the main door, right?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Now the building shouldn't stop me from exiting anymore. I can go after the bucket now.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I think this is gonna be the same as usual, right?
There was nothing here.
Yeah.
No choice to make.
Usual
no
broom
path to
closet
follow.
stuff.
Just an empty broom. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I sure hope this has to work. Do I take the escape pod again, or do I go for the proper exit? That's the question now, isn't it? Do I go... What are we thinking? Do the skateboard 2 times in a row? Try skateboard? I think so. We'll try skateboard twice in a row.
Step.
There we go. Spin is that normal route? I guess it's a bit late. Well, I'm about to find out. About to find out if the escape pod got replaced. But yeah, normal route would make more sense. I'll see. I'll see how this plays out. Just gotta walk up some stairs again. Becomes a question of what exactly we'll do tomorrow. Again, you already know what I said. We're gonna be playing this game every single day until I'm done, which means I'll stream it again tomorrow. That much I promised. Well, it looks like there's a new escape pod. Weird. But that doesn't seem like it gave me an alternate ending. Yeah. No alternate ending there.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
And the
decided
bucket
to go
is
to the
back.
meeting room. Perhaps he had
Replacement
simply missed a memo.
bucket! What do you mean replacement?
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
What do you mean lose it? I set it free.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
We can do the more complicated stuff next time.
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
There should be a collectible around here as well. It's that big room of boxes. Don't know what other room it could mean. All the way over there? They said something about constructing a bridge. There it is. Heh.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlerines. Very soon, you'll collect the
Figure
last one.
Anlerines?
And then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anlerines. None of us can.
And now I guess I need to vent. Whoa! Okay, where's this now? This is new. This is certainly new. Where did I go? Bunch of old cassettes. Where is this? What did I find?
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense...
What did you just say about the bucket?
anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up.
Yeah, that's just normal.
No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it.
It's just that great of a bucket.
Still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can
can't
monetize it.
You can't monetize the bucket.
Yes.
The bucket is mine.
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
Oh boy. Sorry? Is that still on the tape, or should I turn around? Well, that sure was an ending. I need my
All
bucket.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I need my bucket.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket.
Perhaps the confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
I feel so much better. Come on, bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
That was a very sudden genre change, yes. Yep, only one missing. We'll find it next time. This time I want to turn the mind control facility
Stanley and the
on.
bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright. Time for mind control.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yeah, I know.
Even
I'm just
now,
waiting for
in
him to
his darkest
finish.
of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light
I'm just
pierce
waiting
the
for him to
dark
finish
clouds
talking.
of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
We sure are.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
2845, you say?
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
The
Was
bucket
the
did
bucket
know.
guiding him?
The bucket is my
Yes,
best friend,
this is
after all.
certainly the most logical explanation.
Alright, Bucket, we're going down. It's time to turn on the mind control.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
There's still so many things we have
The
to
lights
check out
rose
now with
on
the
an
bucket.
enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
For example, we also
Stanley
still need
and
to
the
jump
bucket
down
both
here
wondered to themselves.
with the bucket. And see if that is any different if we go down there with the bucket.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Oh, absolutely fine. Because we're about to take
Was
charge
the
of
bucket
this
under
place.
the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds
can't
of
wait
things
to
does a
turn
bucket
on
want to
the
do
mind
or not
control.
want to do in the first place? These questions raised
I have to
furiously in
do it.
Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the
Makes
bucket.
me look forward to the adventure line as well. Imagine having the bucket, the adventure line, and the
But here
narrator
was
on
the
our
proof.
side.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
Yes.
They high-fived in a really
One
cool
more high
way,
five as we
and the
take
bucket
control.
made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
We take down the system by taking it over. Turn it on.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror.
Oh no, it was the
Had
bucket.
this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself?
I was
How could the
betrayed.
bucket have betrayed him like this?
No!
Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Oh.
Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Oh. Silly birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another. And
This is
then it dawned on
amazing.
him, this wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility
might be
for
the best
monitoring
ending.
and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls
Look at
were
them
only a
silly
facade
birds.
to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled
The
at the
cutest
metal
of
genius
birds.
in his hands,
Yes.
the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best.
I
And
agree.
Stanley was happy.
That's the happiest ending.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Bucket, get over
What did it
here.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yep. That we did. Then we went over here.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Should I already go? Alright, I want to jump down, obviously. I think it's time to jump.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it
Wow.
the bucket knew all
He isn't
along?
even rambling about
Was the bucket
how I rushed
guiding him?
things? Oh,
Yes, this is certainly the most logical
not even
explanation.
ranting about how I rushed it. Actually, you know what? I'll do 2 more endings, I think. And I think the one where I jump down should be the last one. I think now we do the one that I found thanks to Tormuse before. Yeah.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
No. This time we'll do it
Wait,
with the bucket.
Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
I guess we'll go and press the number 3. Well, we're here.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and
Yep.
began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such
It's
a
amazing.
special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent.
That's tragic.
This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
It is a lovely number, though, right? Alright, fine. Down we go.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
We'll figure it out. Alright, where were
The
we?
hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate?
Stanley and the bucket walked straight
Damn
ahead
it.
through the
Why did
large
that cut
door
him off?
read,
I should
Mind
demonstrate it
Control
again.
Facility.
Actually, you know what? I'll do the jumping off thing now because it cut off the narrator. I didn't expect it to cut him off because he already read this line. Fine, we'll jump down now and then we'll continue with the number 3. I'm gonna redo that. Wait for it. There we go.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below.
I did.
Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall.
I'm
Now,
grateful.
What to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
Good.
So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down
Perfect.
here. A bit cold, perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of
Well, this is
kitchenette
nice.
that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized
First I fell
that
on
it
the
had been
bucket and now I
ages
fell
since he
for
had
the
even
bucket.
thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there,
Paninis.
never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply.
No.
Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending.
Do
This
I?
made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground.
It's the best
Bucket
ending.
sighed.
We're happy.
True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Alright. And then it became an ending. Yep. The end is never the end is never the end is never the end is loading.
All of
Alright.
his co-workers were gone.
Now let's do it
What could
properly
mean?
with the going
Stanley
back up and
decided to
down
go
and
to
up
the
and
meeting
down.
room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Alright, Bucket,
Stanley
you know what we have to
clutched the
do.
bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Hello.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the
Up the
bucket
stairs?
walked upstairs to the boss's office.
And go over
Stepping into
here.
his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Yes, the
Was
bucket knew all along.
guiding him?
Let's keep
Yes,
going.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Alright, next ending. Nope.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was
Yes.
pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Alright, now let me press the number 3. Properly. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the... Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Perhaps the bucket had missed something.
Alright.
Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from
Now,
stabbing the number
let's
3
actually progress
repeatedly.
through this and see what got cut off before.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3 for the bucket again?
Wasn't actually really cut off. But yeah, we're going back up.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me.
It's a
You
very,
and
very
I
important
have been
number.
through so much together.
They're teasing
and I
the
just
Stanley
want you to
Parable
see
3,
what I
basically,
see.
right?
Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket
Gonna
said
go up and down again? Yes, I am. This is all to demonstrate the number 3, which is teasing Stanley Parable 3. It'll happen.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing.
Come on,
The
Bucket.
bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
But I haven't even started pressing the number 3 yet. You wouldn't know. Is this not fun? Nothing is fun for this bucket. Fine, we're going down.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend.
new bucket
Surely there was a
sucks.
solution, mustn't there be?
Solution. Let's go back up again.
Ah, said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference.
Yay, we're holding
where
another
he would
press
speak
conference.
to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then
Yep.
the bucket would be able to see his
It's
joy
time.
through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
Yes.
For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
It's time. Press conference about the number 3. You know, Valve should probably look into that. To stage. Lots of 3s.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
Seven. A lot of 3s, yes. 3 again, 3 again. The Stanley story. Three. What's the magic? 3. That's the magic number. Yes, it is. Fuck this song. A shockingly 3-dimensional character. 3-star magazine. Well, let's get to it then.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak.
What?
To listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding.
I am
The
a
bucket merely sat there in his
failure.
arms, indifferent.
Why?
And so it
Why?
began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between
No.
them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Well, that was an ending. That is very emotional. We grew so distant. Excuse me, what was that? Subtitles?
recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Intriguing. Alright, question. Should I try to go for one more ending? If so, which one? Name an ending, I'll go for it. Name the ending you want to see me do with the bucket. And that will be the finale for the day. Red door, blue door. Normal escape to get bucket 1. Baby ending. Ooh, got a bunch of different stuff. The first one, Tormius was first, so red door, blue door. Since you were first, I'll go with that one. But we have to pick which of the 2 doors we're actually gonna go through. In any event, that will also be where the last collectible is, so I'll take it.
Off on another thrilling adventure.
Yeah, that was the location.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
It's just going to be a question of which door specifically will we choose.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Uh-huh. Already on it.
Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I did not do whatever the bucket asked. Did you not see me just jump off? I'm going this way.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says,
Yes!
no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless...
It comes back!
The problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket.
What a great way to
suppose
end
that
it,
would
by going
explain
to
a
the
lot
no
about your
buckets
behavior
area.
up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please.
Yeah, I did
step
see
in
that.
here for a
I
moment.
did see it. Thanks, Spinner. Guess we're going this way. This is definitely gonna be new. Ooh. Well, this is gonna be a way to end the stream, I guess. Is this
Now
a
then,
bucket?
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
What do we think? Ooh, this is tough. What do we think, guys? Is this a bucket? Is it? I don't know. Could be, but I'm not sure. I think it might not be. You think it's a bucket? It might be one, you're right. Yeah, the suspenseful music definitely adds to it. It could be a bucket.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Damn. Bones tricked me.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
They wouldn't get me with the hologram trick twice in a row, would they? It can't be. Might be a bucket then.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Can the 3D printed recreation hold water? In that case, it's still a bucket.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
That's a cake. Spinner, I'm gonna say this one's a cake. You're absolutely right. But out of principle, it's a bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yeah, I gotta commit. There's no other way to say it. This is absolutely a bucket. I've never... I've never seen anything that is more of a bucket than this. Right? Yeah, this is a bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor.
No, it's a bucket.
An enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
Oh! Another one! Well, since the previous one wasn't a bucket, and this one looks so similar, that means this one is a bucket. It must be.
Correct.
What?
This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket?
I'm sorry, I was just... I'm sorry, I was just taken aback by that bucket.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Oh.
Item... Wait, hold
Ow.
on. I can't
Okay,
find the
then.
next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, that is a bucket.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Suspenseful music. Nothing is a bucket. It has to be, yes.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Really
I can't
now?
have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
You couldn't possibly do that, though.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait.
Everything is a
everything
bucket.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
Everything is a
Come on,
bucket.
had
I
no
was
idea.
right.
How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley,
Ha!
you're still here. You're not a bucket either.
So me saying yes all the time was correct. Everything was a bucket.
Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
All right, well, that was very enlightening. A very enlightening way to end it. And with that, we wrap up today's stream of the Stanley Parable 2. We will continue tomorrow as promised. I'm looking forward to it. More adventures with our bucket. It's gonna be amazing. Honestly. We are here. Bucket. Yes, we're all buckets, I suppose. Now, shall we raid Alex again today? I don't see why not, I guess. I don't have any other target in mind in particular for the raids, so we might as well. Although I probably won't stick around too long. I'm tired. I gotta get some rest in so I can actually enjoy more of this game tomorrow. Alright. Alex Gambit. Let's see if I can quickly get that raid set up. And then tomorrow we'll continue. You might notice that, yeah, I probably gotta put it on the schedule. But even though the stream wasn't on the schedule yet, I already said that I would stream this game continuously till we're done. Alright, over to Alex. So, I'll see you tomorrow for more of the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. And, I don't know, maybe we'll finish it tomorrow, maybe we won't. I honestly have no idea. Couldn't tell ya. But, who knows how long it'll take for full completion of the game, after all. Fully completing the game will take over 10 years at the very least. Anyway, see you all around. Bye Bones, bye Spinne, bye Tormuse, bye anyone else who's lurking in chat right now, and yeah, appreciate having you all around. And I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, if you're watching this after it's been uploaded to YouTube as a VOD, your support has also been greatly appreciated. And if you want to catch me live in the future and not miss me potentially like Brick, then you can check the description down below. And there will be a link to my YouTube, to my Twitch. I stream every single Friday and Saturday, and sometimes other days of the week as well, though that is a little bit more irregular. In any event, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you around, and yeah, have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.